All right. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone today? And welcome to the Level 1 podcast. I am Phil. Phil I am. Or Philium for short. And welcome to the show. How's everyone today? It's a new week. And we're back to full days of streaming. After yesterday, I did have to take a stream away from my regular schedule to do some private React stuff for my patrons. Now we're back into the swing of things. All right. And hope that you guys are doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope that I find you safe and healthy. And if you're not in a good mood, hopefully today we can do something about that to cheer you up. So, today we are going to talk about a variety of topics, although admittedly, I was thinking about this morning and I was actually talking directly to my audience about this, that it just doesn't seem like right now there's too much going on in the realm of concrete gaming information. You know, we had a bunch of news to talk about when I came back from my break last week, but then after that, it's been a pretty slow weekend into this next week. There's nothing really going on. There's some rumors and stuff that we can talk about, but nothing solid, you know? And, you know, some people are like, it's just so dead. I think what it is we are in the midst of what they call the calm before the storm. As you know, typically June is a huge month for games because it used to be the month when E3 took place. And whenever E3 took place, which was typically the first or second weeks of June, that was when all the game companies would release their big announcements regarding all their new games that would be coming out. You get all these big cumulative updates about them and everything. And so, likely, even though there's no E3 anymore, because it's got canceled and pretty much is done for good, I feel, I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a series of big announcements and events and all kinds of things, all this information will begin to hit the internet very shortly. In fact, as soon as, you know, that first week of June. June 11th is the big one for Xbox, where they're going to have their big showcase, and then after that, the big Starfield showcase, and everyone knows Starfield almost feels like the make or break game at this point for Xbox, does it not? It feels like a big make or break situation where if they don't do well with Starfield, they've got nothing to offer at this point. Even though they bought all these game studios, like none of them are really coming out with anything it's worth playing. Redfall was their first major one, and man, it was a huge disappointment. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen on that front. But I think what's going to happen is, you know, come early to mid June, I don't know why I almost said July, early to mid-June, we're going to end up seeing a ton of new information about all these games that'll be coming out soon. And then it's funny because at exactly the same time that's going to be going down, we're also going to have a ton of new games. You know, in that first week of June, we got Street Fighter 6 and Diablo 4, and then within a couple of weeks, we've got Final Fantasy 16. So we got a crazy amount of stuff that's about to be going on in June, and it's just kind of like right now we're kind of waiting it out to get to that point. And so that's what's going on. And really, if you look at this month, right, there's not a heck of a lot going on. The games that have come out have been kind of underwhelming. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, a fine game, except that it runs like dog shit on, every format. So it's kind of hard to enjoy a game when you can barely play it because the frame rate's all over the place. And the controls are kind of wonky. And then you've got Redfall that came out that sucked, right? It's just really, really bad. Unfinished game. And it's like, well, then what are we supposed to be playing? Now, the good news is there is a brand new game coming out this Friday called The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch. And I will be playing it. I'll be playing it all day Friday, and then it's going to hit my major schedule as the new release will be mixing in with everything else. And to celebrate that, we're going to be doing a special hype event tonight over on DSP Reacts, where we're going to be doing a tier maker ranking, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as I get into the specifics of it, because I think you guys are going to be excited. If you've liked my tier maker stuff up to now, I think you're really going to like tonight's event, because we're going to be ranking all the Zelda games, all right? But yeah, so after that, for the rest of this month, there's not much going on. There is going to be a new Amnesia game called The Bunker near the end of the month, and at the very end of the month, there's Lord of the Rings Gollum, which story-wise is looking like it might be pretty good, but I'm not so sure about it being like a full-fledged exciting game. Guess we'll have to see. But see what I mean? Like, it really feels like we're just kind of mulling about, and it's kind of the calm before the storm, and just when June hits, it's going to be like, boom, we're going to be exploding with all this new stuff going on, but we have to get there, all right? So today what we'll do, we'll talk about the schedule for this week. We'll talk about the special stuff coming up, because there are multiple special things coming up this month that I'm excited for. That should be good. And, and we'll go from there. All right. It's going to be a more laid back podcast yet again. Because again, we don't have major stories or anything really to talk about. There's one rumor. All right. And the one rumor is about Konami. And we'll talk about the Konami rumor this morning, because it does seem to be kind of interesting that Konami is actually back into the discussion as a game developer after so many years being out of discussion as any kind of a major game developer. It seems like the whole attitude is flipping. So it's cool to kind of maybe chat a little bit about that, even though sadly there really is nothing concrete there. It's all speculation. That's what I mean. Like right now it seems like I wish I could have a big news segment for you guys, but there's no news. It's all like rumor and speculation and guessing, because there's really nothing concrete right now. I think we have to wait till June for that. By the way, today's Monday. That means that Jasper Kitty is in the office and ready to hang out with us if he so chooses. He could be in here today if he wants for the Elden Ring stream. Every Monday, Tuesday is usually when he gets to join us. At least that's what it's been for the last month or so. I don't know if the schedule will hold forever, but for now, that seems to be the case. So, for those of you who like the little furry guy, he may or may not be jumping all over the chair and trying to distract me when I'm playing Elden Ring today. I guess we'll find out, right? So, he's needing stuff in my closet right now. So how's it going? I hope everyone's doing well, and I hope you're ready. Sorry that yesterday I could only do one stream. My night last night was a mix between reacting to the history of K-pop and a wrestling match, and then there was a private video that I made for someone who I don't think they're going to make it public, so I'm not going to talk about that. But I spent about 2 hours doing private react videos last night, which was fun. It's always fun to do those. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can get a private react video made for yourself if you pledge $50 to my Patreon. Patreon.com/DarksidePhil. Now, I don't really talk about it that much or mention it that much, but it is something available. A lot of people say, well, if I just want to have Phil watch videos, I'll become a member of his React channel, DSP Reacts, and I'll suggest a video for his weekly React show, DSP versus the Internet, or maybe I'll become an Ultra member over there, and then I'm guaranteed to get my video watched. That is true, but DSP versus the Internet is a clip show. So the purpose of that show is that I go through a bunch of shorter clips and watch them as highlights. I don't really watch full videos or anything unless they're very short. The point of a private react is that I watch an entire video from start to finish, and it could be a long video, and I commentate on the entire thing. So really, it's the only way for you to get a full-length react video made for yourself if you want to see me react to a certain subject matter or whatever. And it's been interesting. I've done these now for just under a year, and some people love them and do them all the time. Some people do them once and like, it's all right. It depends on the subject matter, I feel. If it's something that I have more to say about, or if it's something interesting that I'm learning about for the first time, probably better than just something that's kind of, random out of nowhere. Because I've probably done private reacts for like 10 different people over the last year. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. I don't mention my my Patreon that much, because really what my Patreon is, it is a legacy way, okay? It is a legacy way for people to essentially support this channel without being involved with my streams. All right? Since I became a full-time streamer in 2017, my focus is essentially making streams, okay? But there's some people who are long-time viewers of my content here on YouTube, and they love the content, but they don't attend the streams. They're like, well, I'd still like to support Phil, so they just, they throw a little bit towards my Patreon every month. So give it a look. If that's your cup of tea, maybe you just don't care about the streams, but you watch the content on demand, you're like, man, maybe I'd like to do a little pledge here or there, maybe get something back for it. Give it a look. It's patreon.com/darksidephil, okay? All right. It's probably the last time I'll even mention it this month. Seriously. Okay, so I have a cat sitting on my lap staring at me. Why are you staring, Jasper? What are you doing? There he goes. Being silly. All right, now he lay down on the floor. Yeah, Jasper demands attention. Exactly. Whenever he's in here on Mondays and Tuesdays, he's like, why are you talking to other people? Why aren't you talking to me? Anyway, yeah, that's where I was last night. Outside of that, yesterday, whew, what a day. So we had a chill podcast with a lot of Q&A, but then Jedi Survivor yesterday, I got so addicted to trying to beat this boss fight. And it's the same thing that happened to me when I played Elden Ring. If I'm fighting a boss and I feel like I can beat it, even if it's ridiculously tough, I kind of stick there and play it for hours. You remember I did the same thing in Elden Ring where I was fighting Tree Sentinel, and then it was the Crucible Knight, and I spent hours trying to beat these bosses. And I kind of got hung up doing the same thing yesterday in Jedi Survivor, fighting 2 Ogdo, Bogdo, Toad bosses at once. And let me tell you, if this game has any shortcomings, they were definitely on display yesterday. All right, first of all, the control's very wonky in this fight, where sometimes you'll try to jump and the game just won't give you a normal jump. Like, why is he flipping in a weird horizontal way when I'm literally doing the same exact input that I've done before to try to do a double jump over these frogs? It doesn't make sense. And then sometimes it was weird, like the inputs would be, I get the wrong move. I was like, what's that about? But for the most part, the real problem with the fight is that it's unfair. The hitboxes are terrible. These frogs have a tongue attack that when they throw out the tongue, if it hits you, you're instantly dead. And you think, oh, well, it's easy to dodge. Well, it should be, except instead of having a hitbox on the tongue, so, the tongue comes out straight, okay, I'll just run to the sides or I'll jump. No, the hitbox is a giant area of effect all around the tongue that makes no sense. So you can literally be jumping over the tongue and you get sucked into it. Visually, it makes no sense. Gameplay, logically, it makes no sense. Essentially, it's lazy game development. They kind of really messed up this boss fight. And it's really the only reason that's annoying. Okay? So, I ended up taking almost 2 hours to beat these double bosses. And then I beat them. But then after that, we did make advancement. We went to the new area of the game, which is the story. And it's hilarious because I played the story for maybe 20 minutes. And I'm exploring and I'm having a good time. And I find a chest. And I open the chest. And inside there's a pair of pants. Hunter pants. I go to put on the pants, and as I go to equip them, the game crashes. The game reloads. It saves nothing. So I had to replay like 20 minutes of gameplay again. I'm like... Again, I really feel like this game, Jedi Survivor, would have been Game of the Year material if it had polish. The game screams, where's the polish? Hitboxes that are completely imprecise. Jump animations that aren't the same even though you're doing the same input. It makes no effing sense. Frame rate that's tanking constantly in the middle of important times when you need good frame rate. And then it crashes that erase your progress. Like, these are all things, literally all things that easily could be fixed with more polish that they didn't give the game. They released it as it is. It's sad. This game could be much better. And it should be much better, quite frankly. It's a sloppy game. I feel bad because there's parts of the game that shine huge, that are really good. And it's like, dude, these are completely overshadowed by the times when the game falls on its face. It's like a clumsy game, right? I'm a genius. I know a lot, and I could save the planet, but then I keep falling and tripping and landing on my own head. That's basically what the game is. Like, what is going on here, right? Anyway, so that being said, I'm going to keep playing it. I'm hoping that it gets better. A lot of people are saying once you leave the planet I'm on, Kobo, the game actually does get better, both in performance and less wonkiness. I guess we'll see. But as of now, we're like, how many hours in? 10, 12? Actually, let me check. We're 10 hours in, and we're still on that first planet. You might say, why am I still on the first planet? Because there's a ton of optional content I explored and tried to do, and because the game is wonky as shit. It's 2 reasons. So, we're playing it again tomorrow. We'll see how far I get. Hopefully I get off the first planet. and we'll get to start exploring the rest of the game and see if it's any better. All right. So anyway, that was yesterday's one stream. That was it. Last night, I did a final word on Keemstar video. I'm done talking about that subject. Literally, I'm just going to say this today. Don't bring it up. Don't talk about that person nor their content or any kind of nonsense drama. If I see it, I'm literally going to erase it from my channel. Do you understand? I'm done with this stuff. I really have so little patience at this point for bullshit. I just want to make fun content and hang out with you guys. That's it. I'm done with the nonsense of the outside world trying to interfere with us and our time together every day, that I'm not wasting time on it anymore. In fact, that's why I made a video about it last night rather than talking about it on a stream. I literally didn't want to waste my stream time talking about bullshit. So that's why I did that video last night. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the video's live. You can check it out here on the channel. It'll explain everything. It's obviously half of a joke and half serious. Some people actually thought the video was completely serious, and I was like, people are so dumb. I mean, wow. But anyway, give it a look, and hopefully, you know, since the video's been up for 12 hours, maybe when this is up for 24 hours, people will get the idea, and then I'm done with that nonsense, and I'm moving on with my own stuff, okay? So that's the end of that topic. We're done with it. Let's talk about today. Today's exciting. All right, first of all, we're going back into Elden Ring, and last time around, we did the entirety of Volcano Manor, all right? Now, admittedly, Volcano Manor was pretty challenging because I'm a magic build. Makes it harder. It does, because these enemies were a little bit more magic resistant, and I have no health, and these enemies hit for a good amount of damage. So it was kind of challenging getting through, especially fighting those Godskin nobles, the big ones, the big fat ones. But after getting through there, now we're at the end, and we're at the God-Eating Serpent / Reichert boss fight. Problem is, being that I'm a glass cannon, this is the worst fight in the game for me, because literally you cannot use your abilities to win in this fight. You have to use a gimmick item, a spear that shoots light. And yes, it damages the boss. The problem is the boss easily damages you. Like, it's very hard to not get hit in this fight. And I get killed instantly because I have no health because I'm a glass cannon. That's been my build. So unlike the rest of the game where it's like, okay, I deal a ton of damage, but I take a ton of damage. Now I just take a ton of damage. And some people are like, well, why not respec, right? Why not respec? And I'm like, well, I could respec. Admittedly, I could. But do you really want to go to Raya Lucaria, waste a stupid larval tier just to respec and get all vigor? Like, literally all I need is vigor, because the spear does the work in the fight. So make a whole all vigor fight, go back, fight, and beat him, then have to go back, respec again with another larval tier. Do you see what I mean? And this is what I said in my first run of the game too. I don't like this fight. If you're playing a game and the entirety of the game is you have a build, and the build improves over the game, and you're utilizing the build, you're getting better with the build, that's what you want to focus on. You don't want to now have to change. It's like a road bump. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, well, I would like to keep going down the road, but there's a giant roadblock, and now we have to figure out a way around the roadblock. It's annoying. I just want to keep going down my road. And instead, it's like a big lump in the road. So what I'm thinking is, we could try a few things. I'm getting recommended in the chat that if I keep using, whatchamacallit, Rocksling, then apparently Rocksling would work in the fight. I don't think so, because I don't think this guy takes damage except the spear. Like, I think he takes, like, negligible damage from everything in the game except the spear. So we can try it, but I don't think it's going to work. I think that it's going to maybe stun him but do no damage to him. Maybe I'm wrong, but we can check it out. But outside of that, I don't think we're going to do it today. Like, honestly, even though there's, like, 18,000 or 19,000 runes on the guy, I really don't think there's a point to it. It's kind of stupid anyway. All it's going to be is runes for me. I don't need any items from the fight. Like, I'm not going to be using Reichert's blasphemous sword like I did in the first game. So we can easily go back to it later. I'm almost thinking we'll give it a shot with Rocksling or something. And if it doesn't work, screw this. I really don't feel like respecking today. I think what we'll do, we'll run a poll. And you guys will determine what's the next thing I do in the game. And I'd say there's 3 options. Option number 1, go to the Imperial City. Because we've unlocked the Imperial City, but we never entered it. So we can enter the Imperial City and start exploring it. That's number 1. Number 2 would be go to the Deep-Root Depths, which we've also unlocked. We got down there, but we never literally didn't take a step into it. And it's challenging and it's fun. There's optional bosses and things down there and good rewards too. So that's an option. Or option number 3, go to the Astal River, which we unlocked the second half of. And it's challenging. And once you beat the Astal River and all of that, then you head into Noxtella, which is the other cool underground star celestial city with the glintstone and everything. That leads to a cool optional boss fight and everything. This is stuff for my build that I would need. So those are kind of the 3 big options for today, I would say. So let's talk about it. What I'll probably do is we'll do a poll at the beginning of the stream to determine what you guys want. While I'm attempting to fight the God Serpent with Rocksling, I'll let you guys vote, and then we'll determine, based on your voting, where I go next in the game. All right? So it should be a fun stream. We should have good progress. Again, it should be a good time. And thanks for joining me for Elden Ring today. Tonight we're doing something completely different. We're doing Tier Maker. And I'm excited for Tier Maker because Tier Maker has worked out really well in the few times that I've done it. And I do it sparingly on purpose so that way we don't overload my channels with Tier Maker. I feel like doing it, rarely makes it special. So tonight we're doing a Tier Maker stream. It's the late stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. It is not here on DSPGaming. It's going to be over on my React channel, DSP Reacts. Okay, so I hope you guys will join me over on DSP Reacts for the Tier Maker stuff. Now, what's it going to be? It's going to be ranking the Zelda games. Yes, all of the games in the Zelda franchise. Now, I was going through the list, and I feel like I've played maybe 13 different Zelda games in my lifetime. Okay? There's way more than that, but that's because a lot of them were handhelds, and I didn't really partake in that big major handheld era of Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS. I didn't really play those, you see? So I can't really speak to games like Minish or Minish Cap, I don't know how to say it, or Spirit Tracks, or Age of Oracles and Age of Seasons, or whatever it is. I didn't play any of those games, so I can't really weigh in on those. I can only weigh in on the ones that are the major console releases that I've played over the years. And in a lot of cases, I've only played the HD version. For example, Twilight Princess, I've only played the HD version. I've never played the original on GameCube. Was it GameCube? I think it was, right? So I can't really attest to how it played the original, but what I can tell you is what I thought about the HD version, you see? So, this is going to be a fun stream tonight, because here's the thing. People love Zelda, right? And everyone has different opinions. What's the best Zelda? What's the worst Zelda? And I know what's going to end up happening is people are going to be very, very contentious about this. Even though you might think, ranking 13 games won't take a while. Dude, I guarantee you this is going to take all night. If it doesn't, we could have a little chill Q&A session or whatever. But I think it's going to take a long time to get through this tonight and thoroughly discuss the ups and downs and each game and everything and where they rank. Just like last time. Last time we did one of these several weeks ago, it was fast food franchises. But first we had initial ideas of where they should rank, but then we ended up rechanging them around once we realized, oh yeah, well, this one versus this one's actually better than this one, so we would move them around, you see? So this should be fun tonight. I hope that you guys will join me tonight for something different over on DSP Reacts. Again, that's 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. Then tomorrow, another full day of streaming. It's going to be more Star Wars Jedi Survivor on the first stream. And the late stream will be the continuation of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Shivering Isles DLC. All right? And that's basically my end of the week. Wednesday's my day off from streaming. Thursday, we'll do more Elden Ring paired with Final Fantasy V. And then Friday is the big release of Zelda Breath of the... I almost said Breath of the Wild. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I'll be playing Zelda all day long on Friday, both streams, to get a good chunk into it. And then we're going to be balancing Zelda with Star Wars moving forward, with possibly Elden Ring interjecting every once in a while for variety. Although Elden Ring really is the playthrough I'm no rush to finish. I don't need to rush to finish it. We could basically just keep playing it whenever we want. We've got a good tear into the game. You got to hope that when the DLC comes out, hopefully we're at the point in the game where we can play it. So, yeah. So, that'll be basically the focus moving forward, will be Zelda and Star Wars, and night streams, moving forward as well with Oblivion and Final Fantasy V. So there you go. How does that sound? Now, I have a couple other things to talk about. First of all, out of the blue last night, a new movie was released on HBO Max. I didn't even know it was coming out, and I was excited because it was actually one of the things I really like. It was from the DC animated universe. It's called The Legion of Superheroes. And it's a plot line where basically Supergirl is on Earth, but she's finding it hard to fit in on Earth with the other Justice League members. And so she goes to the future to train with a bunch of superheroes 1,000 years forward on Earth. And this actually was a major plot line in DC. The Legion of Superheroes was a popular comic book line at one point. I don't know if it still is, but it was a long time ago. So this came out of nowhere, and I was like, I'll give it a watch. It was like an hour, 20 minutes long. It was really good. Most of those DC animated movies are really, really good. And this came out of nowhere. It's literally brand new. It just released on HBO Max. It's a brand new movie. If you didn't see it yet, I recommend it. And I think I'm going to review it this week. Probably not tonight because I'm doing the tier maker, but maybe tomorrow. I'm thinking I'm going to do a quick review of it for DSP Reacts. I watched it on a whim. It's brand new, and it actually was really good. I was actually impressed. The animation was good, the voice acting was good, and the plot was good. Like, everything about it was very interesting. The only thing that I will say about this, those DC animated movies, the one thing that could hold you back from watching them is that you do need to kind of have some prerequisite knowledge about DC comics to really understand it. For example, this is a plot line that's very heavily relying on knowledge of the Brainiac character. So if you're not a fan of Superman or the Justice League and you don't know who Brainiac is or understand where the character's coming from or the background of the character, it's actually very hard to understand the movie. Now, I used to watch Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, so I know who Brainiac is. He was a major part of those series, and then to see him in this was like, okay, I get it. But it's kind of weird because they don't really explain it. It's like they expect that you already know who Brainiac is. Well, what if I'm just someone watching an animated movie on HBO Max? You'd be like, what the hell is this? I don't get it. It's kind of weird that they do that. I don't know. It's like for me, I almost feel like they make these movies specifically for me because I'm such a fan of the DC animated stuff from the 90s into early 2000s. And then when these movies come out, I'm like, so all that knowledge that I absorbed back then now gets to pay off because I understand what's going on in this one, and it's actually really good. So anyway, good movie, and I wanna review it, and likely I'll probably review it either tonight or tomorrow at the latest. I'll probably do a review of it and release it over there. Okay. So there you go. Because people are like, what's the next thing you're gonna do? Well, this is very timely. It literally released last night, out of nowhere. It was the new thing they added, so it makes sense to review it now, right? Okay. In addition, the one thing I want to mention, because we are going to talk a little bit about this Konami rumor. The one thing I want to mention, guys, is yes, a lot of the support that we got last month in April is kind of expiring. As you can see, today is the 8th of May, and as you can see, we dipped about 100 members. And you might be like, whoa, what happened? Well, last month was my birthday. I mean, that's really the explanation. Last month, I had a big birthday marathon event, and during that event, a lot of people showed up and had a good time with me and supported the streams, and there was a lot of gifted memberships and all that, and they've all expired now. And that was to be expected, right? Like, we knew that was going to happen. So just so you know, no, this is not the end of the world. No, the sky is not falling, okay? It's just natural. This is the way of things, is that sometimes you go up, sometimes you go down. Sometimes you go up, sometimes you go down, right? It is what it is. So, if you like the channel, if you like the content, all right, things are going to pick up in the next couple of weeks, with the addition of Zelda. And there's another big event coming up, May 21st, okay? And we're going to start hyping this up pretty consistently now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is DSP's Fight and Feast event coming up on May 21st, so that's less than 2 weeks away from today. It's a Sunday. It's a marathon day. What are we going to be doing during the Fight and Feast event? Well, the point is basically to bring back hype to fighting games here on DSP Gaming. I haven't really focused on fighting games now in a while. New fighting games, well, every once in a while when one comes out, I'll play one and cover it at launch, right? And retro fighting games, yes, I've played classic Street Fighter 2 in various iterations over the years, but there really hasn't been too many fighting game, centric events or things on this channel in quite some time. Well, guess what? Street Fighter 6 is right around the corner, and I'm excited to play it and cover it for you guys. So I'd like to get some hype back for fighting games. And the purpose of this event on May 21st is just that. So to let you have an idea of what we're going to be doing that day. Okay, number one, I'll be playing retro fighting games from the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. That includes any version of Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, or Street Fighter Alpha. You guys will be voting live what game you want me to play and what character you want me to use in said game. And I'm going to be playing them on the highest level of difficulty in arcade mode, which is actually insanely challenging. These games cheat. They actually do things that should not be allowed in the game, like no charge moves and double damage moves and combos for no good reason, just to make it artificially difficult, okay? So that's going to be one thing we're definitely going to do. Another thing we're going to do is tier maker. We're actually going to be doing tier maker rankings of fighting games. So for example, perhaps we'll rank fighting game franchises, or perhaps we'll actually rank real Street Fighter games against each other. Maybe we'll rank characters and fighters in fighting games against each other. We'll see what you guys are interested in. You guys will likely vote, and we'll determine what you guys want to do during that day, okay? So there's going to probably be a couple tier maker things. In addition, I have a Street Fighter cookbook, and my wife wants to cook some of the things out of that cookbook, so she's going to make a few of them. And what we will do over the course of that day is we're going to check out the recipe, read the lore behind the recipe, how it ties it to that Street Fighter character, and then actually try the food or drink or whatever it is live on stream. So essentially there'll be a series of Street Fighter Cookbook taste test segments. That'll be neat. Now, one final thing that people have seemed to want is a WWE 2K Fantasy Battle Royal match that seems to be based around fighting game characters. Now, this year, we got Street Fighter 6 coming out in June, but supposedly by the end of the year, we're also going to have Tekken 8 and Mortal Kombat 12. And if that's the case, it'd be pretty cool to maybe do like a big battle royale based around fighting games. So I'll see what I can put together there, okay? Dalzim's Yoga Balls. Dalzim's Yoga Fireballs. There you go. Anyway, someone just said that in chat. Anyway, so that'll be exciting. I think it's going to be a great event, okay? So it's coming up on the 21st. Oh, by the way, I have something special for that event planned, all right? That's all I'm going to say. So, I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. Please get hyped. Please save the date. May 21st, a marathon here. So, here's the thing. We just got a dip in support. Oh, my God, my members are down or whatever. But the thing is, this is what happens, every once in a while. If you like the channel, you like the content, please consider becoming a member, renewing a membership that lapsed, maybe one of these gifted ones, or gifting some memberships to the channel. Hey, great time to support the channel would be this Friday with the premiere of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, or maybe on May 21st when a lot of people will be here for the Fight and Feast special marathon event. All right, just throwing that out there. Great times to support the channel. There'll be a lot of people here who would be accepting gifted memberships, so there you go. Please remember that this channel is 100% crowdfunded, and what I mean by that is I don't have sponsorships, partnerships, product placements, or anything like that. I don't need them. Why? Because you guys support the channel. You allow me to make the kind of content that I enjoy and to not be beholden to anyone on the internet, which is great. It gives me freedom to say and do what I want, to be honest with you, and to put out meaningful content for an audience that looks for this kind of content. So, if you enjoyed today's streams, please, by all means, support them. Give them likes. When you give a like on the stream, it gives engagement and it lets more people find that channel. Please talk with me in the chat. Engagement is key. It really does help. Consider contributing via a YouTube method, such as a super chat or a super sticker or a super thanks if you're watching this video on demand. Maybe become a member, maybe give some memberships to the channel. That's amazing. Or maybe consider giving a tip. Now, a tip is a little different. It's done through PayPal. There's a tips command in the chat. You can use !tip. It'll bring up the method to do that. Cool thing about tips is it is a better method to contribute. I get more of a cut of a tip than anything else that you contribute. And I get a tip immediately, and it helps me to pay for stuff and do important things like buy games, go grocery shopping, pay other bills behind the scenes, etc. So, if you tip me, thank you so much. And we have goals in effect for tips. As you can see, they're tiered for every $50 raised. So if I raise $50, put on a pair of Gunner glasses. Raise $100, you will vote on a silly hat for me to wear, of which I have many, many silly hats now that you can vote on. And of course, for $150, which I know is a stretch and we almost never hit it, I'll wear a silly vest for you guys as well on the stream that you could choose. So good stuff there, and thank you in advance to anyone who supports the channel. Drewski just said, I wish the little emojis on the side did something, like maybe 0.00001 cent, like a donation. Every time someone clicks it, I'd never stop. Yeah, if you guys don't know, it's been so weird. It's been almost a month now, right? It's called live reactions. When you're on a live stream now on YouTube, there's something called a live reaction that you click and you can do an emoji. And right now it's like the surprised face or the happy face or a 100, I don't even know what it means, or a heart or like a party horn. So you can click on those, and if you do, they appear on the side of the chat. Now, I don't know if you guys can see them. I see them. Like right now, I see them on my desktop. I see them popping up. And I actually see them in my pop-out chat that I have on my laptop. I don't know if everyone sees these or not. But, it's very silly, right? I can't unsee them, says Apollo. Yeah, I don't know what they did. I don't know. I mean, I think what it is, again, YouTube trying to copy other things, other businesses. So I guess Instagram streams have something like this. If you go live on Instagram, it has this weird feed of pop-up stuff that doesn't really do anything. But I guess it's what it is. So it's funny because here I am. We've got about 450 people on the stream. And I look down. It's like a constant stream of emojis just going like crazy. And it's funny because I used to see videos from Instagram with all these emojis going. I used to be like, wow, that person must have like thousands and thousands of viewers to have that much engagement. No, I'm looking right now. I have that engagement too. And I have 400 people on stream. So there you go. It's pretty silly. All right. So anyway, guys, that's what's going on. All right. What I'd like to do is very briefly talk about these rumors centered around Konami. All right. So Konami used to be one of the big game developers. Franchises such as Castlevania, Metal Gear, among many others that were very notable at the time. You know, recently you say Silent Hill and stuff like that, okay? So over the years, Konami has come in and out of prominence as a good game developer, and sometimes they're white hot and they make some great games that make tons of money, and other times they just kind of fade into obscurity. Well, honestly, actually, Swagger Needle says he can't see them on desktop. I'm using Google Chrome. I don't know what browser you're using. I can see them on Google Chrome. There you go. So basically, recently, in the last 5 to 10 years, Konami has fallen out of prominence again, essentially ever since Metal Gear Solid 5 released. Okay, when Metal Gear Solid 5 released, and there was a big falling out with Hideo Kojima, they basically fired him and his team early before the game was even done. It got rushed out to finish, and it was an unfinished mess, which sucks because the game was a masterpiece that definitely was not done, and felt completely, you know, disjointed and broken because of that, right? So, since then, they've barely put out any really new video games. At one point, it was actually publicly announced that they were going to not focus on games anymore. They were actually going to focus more on their pachinko machine division, which apparently has always been a big part of Konami's money-making process, is these pachinko machines, these gambling machines in Japan. So I guess that's what they focused on for a while. But now it seems like it's come full circle, and they're swinging back, and now they're going to start making games again. So first of all, in the last few years, they've released some retro collections. Like they did multiple Castlevania collections. And I actually played one of those last year. And I played through the first 4 awesome Castlevania games here live on stream. But there's been all this debate about what else they would be doing. First of all, it was announced they are going full force back into Silent Hill games. They're developing a remake of Silent Hill 2 with Bloober Team at the head, or the helm. That's the word I was looking for. The helm. Bloober Team at the helm. Some people like that, some people don't. A lot of people don't have faith in Bloober Team, but others do. All right? Now, they're also making a new Silent Hill game. A brand new one. So it's kind of like your favorite retro game being remade for a modern audience, but also a brand new iteration as well. That's kind of neat to see a franchise that's kind of been sitting around unused, now going to get some prominence again, right? Now, in addition to that, there's been strong rumors that there may be more Castlevania content on the way. But the other very strong rumor is that they are remaking the Metal Gear Solid games, starting with Metal Gear Solid 3. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, all right? I think that's bad ordering. I think if they were going to remake the Metal Gear Solid games, first of all, they should make them from Part 1. Right now, Part 1 is the one that's the hardest to play, because there's the original on PS1, and there was a remake on GameCube. Well, you're certainly not going to be booting up your PS1 anytime soon. You can't play those retro PS1 games on a modern PlayStation console. You can only play them on like PS3, so that's not necessarily accessible. There was a GameCube version of Metal Gear Solid that was kind of a remake in the early 2000s. The problem is it's incredibly rare and hard to play and get. So it's like there's no accessibility really to Metal Gear Solid 1 right now. So why would they not remake it? And the thing is, years later, and this is the collection that I played that essentially got me into hot water and started the whole negativity and toxic movement against me on the internet. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 collection was released about 11, 12 years ago, I want to say. I want to say it was like 2011, 2012 when it came out. And that was for PS3, and it was an HD port of the classic games, PS2 games. And, you know, that's when I first played them and had a good time with them. I say I had a good time, it's hilarious. I made fun of them, and everyone thought I was serious, which was ridiculous. But I think you get the point I'm saying is, I played these games, and obviously, there's a big fan base for them, right? And that's why people started hating on me on the internet, because I kind of crapped on them, right? But there's already an HD version of them. So if you wanted to play Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, or excuse me, 2 and 3 right now, you could play the HD versions of them on a modern PlayStation. So why they're remaking Metal Gear Solid 3, supposedly, from the ground up, kind of baffles me. I'd be like, make the first one. That's the one you can't actually play right now. Even if you wanted to, it's very hard to play. But no, they've decided on 3. And that is confusing to me. I wish that they would actually focus on the one you can't actually get right now. You know what I mean? So it is a little weird, I would say. I'm going to decompress my back for a second. Ooh, that feels good, actually. Ooh. But, yeah. So the other rumor is that maybe they are actually working on a full-on collection. But they're starting with Metal Gear Solid 3, and depending on the success of it, then they'll move on to the other two. I don't know. But the other big rumor now, because all these rumors have been floating, and we know about, Silent Hills in development and all that. Another big rumor is hit that supposedly Konami is entering an exclusivity agreement with Sony that these games are going to be on Sony consoles. Just Sony consoles. And if that is the truth, what a ridiculous, hypocritical, baffling move by Sony, right? Sony literally is in the process of saying that if Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard, then Activision Blizzard could have control over franchises like Call of Duty that are giant moneymakers for Sony. And they feel like that would give them a marketing position where they're kind of like a market dominant thing, and that's why they don't want this acquisition to go through. So Sony literally just makes this case that this should not go through, but now they're trying to do an exclusivity agreement with a company. It's like, what? Wait, you literally don't want Microsoft to buy a company because it would make games exclusive and give them the upper hand, and now on the other hand, you're making a deal to make games exclusive to Sony consoles. Like what the hell, right? Like, seriously, it's like a complete hypocrisy. But is it true? And that's the thing, we don't know. It's rumors. And that's the thing, like, I like reporting on facts. I like sitting here and saying to you guys, so here's what's really going on. Here's a factual story that happened and blah, blah. I can't really do that today because there's really no concrete gaming news. I'm literally reporting on a rumor now. Is it true or not? I wouldn't put it past Sony because they've done stuff like this before, right? The original Metal Gear Solid series was very much a Sony kind of deal, with a few exceptions like that remake of Metal Gear Solid 1 being ported to GameCube. But for the most part, the Metal Gear Solid franchise from the first several iterations was always a Sony thing, and then it was only around the time of Metal Gear Solid 5, right, that it was cross-ported. But even Metal Gear Solid 4 was PlayStation 3 exclusive, right? So, yeah, it kind of makes me scratch my head a bit. Like, I don't get it. I don't really understand it. How they could complain so hard about one thing, but then be doing the same thing on the back end. You know what I mean? But again, you don't really know what to believe. I wouldn't put it past Sony to be doing that. At the same time, I don't think we have confirmation it's real. You know what I mean? Okay. So, ladies and gents, that's really all I got to talk about today. I've now gabbed for 45 minutes. I think it is now time to do some shout-outs. All right? We don't have much else to talk about, so we'll do shout-outs. We'll see what you guys have to think about who have contributed. And if there's time, we'll do some Q&A. All right? And then, by the way, like I said, when we start with Elden Ring, we'll do a poll. I'll go try to take on the God Serpent, but in the meantime, we'll have a poll where you guys will try to give me your feedback on what you think I should do on today's stream of Elden Ring, because we have like 3 major options, okay? All right, let's start with shout-outs. First shout-out of the day is from Parasolo, who did a super chat and said, I am so effing hyped for Zelda. I loved Breath of the Wild. You know, at first, I was skeptical about Breath of the Wild, and certainly there are some things in Breath of the Wild that are annoying, but at the same time, the game really grew on me, and I ended up enjoying it a lot after really enjoying the open world exploration and stuff that it had in it. You know, the fact that it was a Zelda game where you could look out over the landscape and see all these things moving and stuff in the background and then realize, wait a minute, I could actually do that stuff. I can actually go and climb that mountain. I can actually fight that giant dragon in the sky, right? That's neat stuff. So I really enjoyed that about it, and I hope that that same sense of kind of wonder and exploration is present in this new one, although I am skeptical, because it seems like it has an insane focus on building and crafting, which is never has been a portion of Zelda. I don't get it. Why they decided to basically make Zelda Minecraft is really confusing to me. If I wanted to play Minecraft, I would play Minecraft. I don't need to have Minecraft in my Zelda, but apparently that's what they're going for. So I guess we're going to see how it goes, okay? Thank you for that. And then Jade is here today and has re-upped his membership for 23 months at the Ultra level. Thank you so much, Jade. Glad to have you here on the stream. And thank you for the ongoing support. Alex from Phoenix did a super chat this morning. He says, thoughts on the new Chrono Odyssey trailer. I have no idea what you are talking about. What is Chrono Odyssey? Never heard of it. Does it have something to do with Chrono Trigger and Mario Odyssey? It's a crossover. The Chrono Trigger crew went into the Epic, went through time, and picked up all the Marios over time. So now you have like 8-bit Mario, 16-bit Mario, Nintendo 64 Mario, and like modern Mario. And they're teaming up to fight different versions of Bowser through time, right? I made that up. I have no idea. Thanks for the super chat, though. I've never heard of it. Lies for Soul did a super chat. He says, can you just already automatically make a new God tier level for Majora's Mask? See, here's what I mean. People are already, we're not even on the tier maker stream, and people already are having ideas of what they think is like the best Zelda game. And I really feel like there's going to be a lot of contention in regards to the best Zelda. I already have an idea of what I think the best Zelda game is, and you guys might probably completely disagree, and that's fine. But that's the beauty of the tier maker streams, is that we will talk to each other about it, right? We'll debate, we'll try to convince each other. It's going to be interesting because I might have initial rankings and then be like, nah, now that they're all on there, now I want to reshuffle them because I definitely think this one's better than this one and this one's not as good as this one, you see? It's going to be a fun event tonight. I hope you'll join me tonight for that over on DSP Reacts, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, excuse me. Mishael has re-upped his membership for 5 months, and he says, hey, Phil, what's up? What's going on, Mishael? Good to see you here, and thank you for the support. Bloomkit just did a super chat. He says, you do realize crafting was in games before Minecraft. Of course I realized that. I used to play MMOs. I used to play RPGs. It always was a big part of that. But Minecraft is the game that really made it kind of a mainstream deal and, you know, actually made it pretty addicting, I would say. The whole harvest and craft / build something with what you just harvested kind of a deal really became a mainstream phenomenon in gaming with Minecraft. So if you're going to bring it up, you're going to say basically Minecraft first. It's the first thing that comes to mind. There's absolutely other games that have done it. You're absolutely right. But Minecraft is the one that was the biggest and most synonymous with that gameplay style, I feel. Okay? I mean, I could just say it's Zelda Fortnite. Do you really want me to say that? I don't think you want me to say that. It's Zelda Fortnite. Because then everyone will get so pissy that I said that. Okay. Let's swing over to tips for a bit here. First tip of the day is Dex. I know his itches. And Dex has tipped me $2. Let's get Dex on the leaderboard and see what Dex wants to chat about today. Thank you, Dex, for the first tip of the day. Excuse me. That is absolutely disgusting. I'm sorry about that. Okay. All right. So Dex says, hey, Phil, just supporting, but interested in your thoughts. New GPUs and hardware this gen are pushing 500 frames per second rates. Consoles can easily do 120. PC has had 240 or 360 hertz. Consoles 60 for nearly a decade. How is it they can't commit to push 30? It's baffling. What is your honest thoughts? I mean, here's the thing. All right, back in the day, old Phil would have done a rant. Should I do an old Phil rant? All right, here's an old Phil rant. Now this is just I'm telling you guys, this is not modern Phil. This is what old Phil would have done. In fact, you know what? Hold on a second here. Old, uninformed Phil, on an Ask the King episode, would have said the following. You ready? Wow, what a bunch of lazy ass people. They get a paycheck and this is what they put out. Can you believe that they have a 9-to-5 job where they work on video games and this is what they're supposed to do, and the only thing they have to do is make that game work and they can't do it? What a bunch of lazy bums, and they don't deserve a paycheck and they should all be fired or laid off and get competent people in there. And by the way, all the managers at the company should also be laid off and fired, because obviously if they're in charge and they're releasing these unfinished buggy pieces of shit, they also should all be fired. And everyone in the game industry is a piece of shit and a lazy bum, and no one should ever buy a video game because it sucks. And that's what old Phil would have said. All right? But I've been around the block now. I've been doing this now for about 15 years. And, you know, I kind of tend to think that there's other stuff going on. Whether it's, I don't know. Could it be that, sadly, the games industry has changed for the worse, which I really feel the entire industry has changed for the worse. You know, there was a time when these game companies were allowed to do creative things. They were told, listen, just make a creative, awesome game. And if you make a great game, it'll sell. And if it sells, great. And then we all make money, right? But I almost feel like that's not even what happens anymore. I feel like these people who are going into these games, or, you know, as developers, as investors, that's the other thing too, like these publishers / investors, they literally see dollar signs now. Why? Because in the last 10 to 15 years, video games have become the predominant entertainment medium. If you're not aware, video games make more money annually than movies, music, TV, and any other entertainment medium combined. Video games are the dominant way that people get entertainment now. And it's the most profitable way to do it. And because of that, people get involved now who previously were involved in all those other entertainment industries, and now they got to get their hooks into it, right? And when that happens, you get people going into things for all the wrong reasons. They don't have any intention of making a good video game, nor do they care if it's a good video game. All they care about is if it's a best-selling video game. Do you understand? And so when you get those kind of people involved in the industry, you get a stifling loss of creativity, loss of creative control. Instead, you get these companies and or publishers that literally are just looking to pump out product for profit. They don't care if the game is good or if it has any longevity, as long as they made their profits. And there's different ways to do that. Pump out a game that's hyped and then it sucks, but who cares? You already made your money at launch. Pump out a game that has a service, games as a service model. So even though you might only spend a few bucks to start it or get it for free at the start, people keep dumping money repeatedly into microtransactions, so it ends up being a revenue stream for a long period of time. I mean, I could literally just keep going on and on about this. But this is what we've seen. The trend the last 5 to 10 years in the industry has been go away from these amazing game experiences and instead just pump out a game and hope people buy it. I mean, take a look, case in point. I just mentioned this yesterday. I said, take a look at God of War Ragnarok, okay? Here's a game that they took their time making. It takes several years. The last one was 2018. So it took, 4 years for them to make this game. Top-notch graphics, top-notch production values, great story, great gameplay elements, everything AAA. When we bought it, wow, right? Now look at their competition. Has there even been another game since God of War Ragnarok that's even hit that level? You could argue Resident Evil 4 Remake, but it's a remake. The groundwork was already there, right? And the problem is there used to be games like that all the time, and that's how these companies made their money. Now, when you got a game, I hate to say it, and a lot of people are going to get angry with me, all right? Take a look at Grand Theft Auto Online, all right? I hate to say it, but I feel like Grand Theft Auto Online has done way more harm to the games industry than any kind of help. Because what GTA Online taught the games industry is you can make a bare bones, unfinished online games as a service model and become the most profitable game ever made. Because it has been. Did you know that? GTA Online is literally the most it made like over billions of dollars over the last decade. I think they said it's the best-selling, most profitable game ever. For what? Can you name meaningful experiences that happen in GTA Online that are must-play? I literally skipped GTA Online. I played it at launch. It sucked. I played the heists. They were okay. I tried it one more time. It just wasn't fun. What it is, it's a way to waste your time with friends, right? There's no substance to it. You can literally skip all of GTA Online and you've missed absolutely nothing significant in gaming whatsoever in the last decade. But yet, it's the biggest thing in gaming. And that example taught companies, we don't have to try. We just have to find something that people are convinced is a cultural thing, and then we'll profit. Take a look at Fortnite. Fortnite, another huge game that really just copied everybody else. Did Fortnite do anything original? No, Fortnite was supposed to be a tower defense game, right? What did it become? Battle Royale, which everyone else had already done, but because they made it look cartoony and cutesy, because they added in Minecraft elements that kids already liked, and because they got all the licensing, it absolutely fucking exploded in popularity and became insanely profitable. Is Fortnite really meaningful? Do you have to play Fortnite to really understand gaming? No. If you've never played Fortnite, again, you literally missed nothing. But it's the biggest game like ever. You understand? It's ridiculous. So because these examples now exist in the last decade, this is now what the gaming industry is going for. And that's sad. I was just talking again yesterday. I said, remember the year 2013? Do you remember in that year, we had hit after hit, banger after banger. So many good games coming out. We had, BioShock Infinite. And around that time, there was like 2 or 3 games right before that were great. 5 games right after that were great. And every month it was like, good game, good game, good game, good game. I don't know if we're ever going to get to that point again. Quite frankly, I really don't think we will. Because that's not even what they're going for with these games. And even game developers that want to make those kind of game experiences are not allowed to. All right? Can I ask you a question? Do you really think the people who made Star Wars Jedi Survivor wanted to put out a game that runs like shit? Do you think they sat there every day, they're like, man, I just can't wait for my paycheck to roll in because we're selling the game even though it's a piece of dog shit? Do you think that? No, I don't believe that for a second. Those game developers want that game to run beautifully. They want to make a game that's considered a masterpiece that people will remember and talk about for years to come. But what happens is the people in charge, the management, the publisher, they put the pressure on them. They got to do this, got to do that, got to pump this out, got to pump that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, by the way, 672 says, The Last of Us 1, Battlefield 4, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, BioShock Infinite, GTA 5, just a couple examples of the insane games that came out in 2013. Have we even had a year since 2013 that has had all games of that caliber? Right. And I don't think we will. Unless there's a big shift in the games industry from instant profits to quality. And that's really what it is. It's a quality issue. There's no quality checks. There's no quality standards in place. It seems like it's like, oh, well, it's video games, and video games are just for kids. They're not serious business. So we can pump out a bunch of junk and fix it later. No, that shouldn't be the attitude. And quite frankly, there should be accountability for people who are in the games industry who are making these awful decisions. They shouldn't be in charge, right? They shouldn't be insulated. The problem is we have this cultural thing where people who are rich get into these positions of power, and then they have what's called golden parachutes. Did you hear this? They can fuck up, and actually by fucking up, they're insulated from any kind of repercussions. They sometimes fuck up and get promoted. I know that sounds stupid, but that's actually what happens. What kind of a society do we have that there's this upper echelon of people who are already rich and in power, they fuck everything up for everyone, and then they get promoted or get rewarded? Or, oh, I fucked up while I'm retiring, give me a bunch of money to retire. You know what I'm saying? And these are the people in power in the games industry. People who don't understand games, all they care about, pump the game out, make the profit, pump the game out, make the profit. Until that changes, we will continue to see this happen in the games industry. We'll see a dip in quality, more unfinished games, more junk, and way less bangers that are worth your time. Instead, you're going to get the same cookie cutter followed bullshit, the same games as a service junk, the same game you've played 14 times, only now it's called something different with a different skin over it, right? I mean, I'm so sick of the same fucking archetypes of games being pumped out that we played already. I don't want to see the same game a 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th fucking time. I want something new and original and different, and we almost never see that in the games industry anymore, right? There you go. That's my answer. And that's the kind of answer I couldn't give if I had sponsorships or partnerships, my friends. Seriously. Can you imagine if someone who had a big sponsorship with a game company saying something like that on their stream? That's why I'm happy that I'm able to give those kind of answers, because I'm not beholden to anybody. Okay. All right. Let's continue. I received a $1 tip. Will I be playing Pokemon Scarlet again when a DLC story is released? You know, a few people have been asking me this one now. I'm uncertain about it. The thing is, I really liked Pokemon Scarlet Violet, even though it runs horribly on the Switch. I thought the gameplay elements were incredibly fun and sound. Excuse me. And I really liked the story. I actually think it was one of the best Pokemon stories I've ever experienced, quite frankly. You know, and those Pokemon streams are very fun, chill, interactive streams. Would I like to do the DLC? I probably would, but the thing is, would people be interested? I don't know. I guess we're going to have to see, 'cause I don't know when it comes out. I guess we'll have to talk about it as we get closer to its release, because I don't know when it releases, and see what's going on. Like, if we still have a bunch of ongoing chill playthroughs and stuff, then probably no. But let's say, for example, let's say we finish up Oblivion, and now we're looking for a new, like, night chill stream kind of a deal. I think the Pokemon DLC could fit that gap. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. We have to see what's going on at that time, but I actually don't know when it releases. I have to try to figure that out. Okay. Excuse me. Stupid frog in my throat today. Okay. Let's see here. So, I have someone named James who tipped me $1 who's trying to give me some suggestions. I appreciate the suggestions. They're things that have been said before for sure. I don't feel like I need to publicly address them. It's kind of behind the scenes suggestions for improvement. I appreciate that, James. Thank you for the $1 tip. Okay. This frog in my throat's bothering me. I think I got it that time. Annoying. Okay. It must be one of those Ogdo Bogdos from yesterday. After I killed it, it got pissed. It jumped down my throat. All right. I received another $1 tip. Oh, let's see here. This is someone who's saying something that's completely untrue and has nothing to do with anything. And if they actually want to talk to me about it, they can email me. Yes, I'm just going to ignore it. All right. I received a $2 tip from Anso Kamaru. My week off vacation from work was approved. I will now be able to play Final Fantasy 16 non-stop for that week. I'm going to go full hermit mode, bro. I can't freaking wait. I agree with you. Final Fantasy 15 had massive potential that it actually dropped. Having to watch a movie and an anime before playing the game. Then the game story itself as being hella unfinished freaking sucked. Final Fantasy 16 is shaping up to be damn near perfect. I hope so. Because here's the thing. Even being as unfinished as it was, Final Fantasy 15 was really good. Like, I very much enjoyed it. Did it have shortcomings? It did. Were there things I was critical of that I thought could have been improved? Absolutely. But overall, I still think the game was great. So if 16 doesn't have those issues, I think 16 could be one of the best RPGs of all time. But I guess we're going to find out when it comes out next month, right? Okay. Continuing on. So, Gathering Hall Live has re-upped their membership for 7 months. And says it's a publisher issue, not really a dev issue 100%. Again, I have absolutely no belief in my head that there is a single game developer out there that goes to work every day and says, man, I can't wait to push out a piece of shit, right? I can't wait to push out a game that's going to be choppy, that's not going to have good controls, that's not going to have fluid gameplay. Why would they do that? Most people who do this kind of creative work have pride in their work. They actually care about pumping out a quality product. They don't just go to work to say, well, I type on my computer today. Okay, I put in my time, I'm done, I go home and take my paycheck. No, they want to see a piece of awesome work come out of it. They want to have a game that releases and they, wow, people liked it. People actually reviewed it well. People are buying it in droves. That's what they want. They want to have pride in something great that they've made for the industry and for gamers. They don't want to pump out a turd, right? But we're talking about the game developers. We're not talking about the publishers. We're not talking about the management. We're talking about the actual line level game developer who does the work, right? I think that's where the disconnect is. So, Bloomkit has done another super chat. Would you rather visit Japan or England? Oh man. Well, you know, I mean, can I give you an honest answer? For me, it's like 50-50. I would do either. I would enjoy either trip, I think. My wife has always wanted to go to Japan. Like her whole life, she said, I want to go to Japan for a vacation. So ideally, if we were able to go somewhere, it would probably be Japan because that's where my wife wants to go, and I want to give her the trip she's always wanted, right? But for me, it's kind of 50-50. For me, I'd like to travel anywhere and just have a good time, absorbing culture that I'm not used to, trying new cuisines, seeing sights, having fun in a place that I'm not familiar with. That's really where I would like to do, quite frankly. Okay? So there you go. That's not England. Someone just said that's not England. What do you mean? Hold on. No, wait a minute. Are you telling me that if I go to England and I eat beans on toast, it's not going to blow me away? Is that what you're saying? If I eat a spotted dick, I'm not going to be like, wow, gourmet food? What are you talking about? Come on, man. You can't be hating on England like that. All right? You can't. What are you trying to say? I'd probably like Indian food in the UK. Probably I would. I like Indian food as it is, so if there's a more, even more interesting Indian foods in the UK, I probably would enjoy that. You're right. Hello, Pickle Man. How's it going? He says it's been an average day for him. He wants another daily question. Okay. How about this one? Here comes Jasper Kitty, by the way. Jasper. Hello. What are you doing? How about this? So Jasper Kitty, if you were to ask him what is his favorite food, it's fish. He loves fish. Any food we get that has fish in it, his dry food is salmon based. And if we give him treats, he usually likes the treats that are fish based. So do you, he's looking at my head. Do you prefer, Pickle Man, fish or red meat or chicken? And he's licking, he won't stop licking my head. Jasper, you silly guy. He's trying to groom me. He's trying to groom me. Live on stream. Oh my goodness. You silly guy. You're so silly. You groom me on stream in front of all these people. How dare you? Pickleman says red meat easily. Can't beat a good steak. And I used to be in agreement with Pickleman back in the day. But last 10 years of my life have been eye-opening. A lot of things changed for me. Basically, when I moved out here, number one, being exposed to so many more cultures and cuisines that I never seen or tried before, a lot of which are not red meat based. And then number two, me having some health problems with, acid levels in my body and having to stay away from red meat a lot of the time has gotten me into other things. So today I would very rarely even eat red meat. I don't even think about it. How dare you bite me? Oh, that's it. Now you're going to get it. Now you're going to get it. How dare you bite me live on stream? How could you? He's trying to bite me again. Giant Enemy Crab says, I prefer chicken and fish. Red meat is good occasionally. Lice Versal says, lick Jasper on the forehead to establish your dominance. I'm not going to lick my cat. Sorry. Fresh fish is delicious. I agree. See, I actually really like fresh fish. The problem is it's expensive. You try going to a seafood restaurant that has like catch of the day. Dude, you're spending $30 minimum on a dish. Like, dude, I can't spend that much money. It sucks that fresh fish is so expensive. Because there's a lot of places out here that have it, but I don't have that kind of money to be spending. No, Jasper does not know tricks or commands. He's a cat. He does not do that stuff. Jasper, leave this wire alone. Oh, that's it. Jasper! Don't do it. He's trying to chew my headphone wire. I had to spray him. Didn't want to spray him. You know, you guys know me. I don't like spraying Jasper at all. But the moment he tries to eat a wire, I have to. If he eats that wire, he can get electrocuted. So, sorry, Jasper. You got to learn not to eat my wires, man. Thing is, he's doing it to get my attention. He's not doing it because he wants to eat the wire. He does it because, oh, I know I get attention from Dad if I do this. Well, he got the wrong kind of attention. Have I ever been on a performance stage? Yes. I could do DSP Goes Fishing. How exactly would I do that? DSP Goes Fishing. First of all, don't you think that would be incredibly boring? Just me fishing? For me fishing with an interactive live audience and chatting, that's one thing. But me actually real life fishing by myself, wouldn't that be boring? Plus, I don't know how you would even do it, Because let's say, for example, I go out to a lake to do it. Well, that's probably going to have terrible cell phone reception there, so how am I going to stream, right? Like, the places you can stream the best is, like, city. You can't fish in the city. Yes, I have been fishing on a pier before. Yes, I have. Can we play Bass Pro again and bring the fishing hat and lures back? Well, number one, we can't play Bassmaster. It's off Game Pass. And I'm not buying it because we've already done everything there is in the game. And the game is kind of broken. So, no, I'm actually not going to be buying that game and continuing it. If there is a new fishing game that comes out, all right, then I will consider it. But only if there's a new one. So I don't know if and when they're going to make another Bassmaster game. The last one was like 2 years ago. I guess we'll have to see. No, there's a very good reason I don't do IRL streaming. It's for safety reasons. Sadly, with the amount of crazy people who obsess with me on the internet for absolutely no good reason, I have to avoid having any private life stuff shared with the internet. Because these people would probably try to do messed up stuff. So that's why I don't do that kind of stuff. Okay, guys, please tag me in chat if you'd like to ask me any more questions today or any contributions. Of course, I will shout out as well. I would appreciate any support on the stream today. Thank you in advance to anyone who has or will during this stream. There will never be another house tour. Those days are done. If you haven't noticed, I haven't done a house tour in like, what, 6 years? 7 years? I don't even know. And there never will be another one. It's done. The days of the house tours are over, my friends, and it's because of the crazy people on the internet. If they would just behave and not act like nut jobs, then I'd be okay with it. But the fact that every little piece of information I give out is used to hurt me, I'm not wasting my time. What is going on, Big Mac? How are you? Would I ever try Valorant? I don't think so. Doesn't seem like the kind of game I'd be interested in, even if I had a PC that I could play games on. Lanuli says, I heard you talk about a Steam Deck in the last podcast. There's a competitor called the Asus ROG Ally that's twice as powerful, and it's going to cost $600, which means I'm not getting it. That's not even close to being something in my price range. It's nuts. Dropping $600 for something I'll casually play games on does not make sense. Are there spiders in Elden Ring? No, right? There's no spiders. There's the hands. The hands that kind of act like creepy spiders, but there's no real spiders in the game, correct? I have never played Costume Quest. No, I have not. I don't know what an MLS game is, so I guess the answer is no, I've never been to one. No, I do not like or play romance games. Would I ever do a setup tour of The Office? I mean, maybe someday. There's really nothing to show. My consoles are over there. My TV's here. My joysticks are here. Here I have my keyboard and headphones and controllers. Here's my laptop. Here's my PC. It's not a big deal. Quite frankly, there's not much to show. It's not interesting. Thoughts on PS5 Pro rumors? I already said. I don't think it's true. I think they are making a new model PS5, but it's not what people think. I think it's going to be a model PS5 where every model is the same. And then if you want the ability to run discs on it, you have to buy a separate drive that you would plug into it. I think that makes more sense than doing a Pro. The games are not running optimally on the regular PS5. What makes you think putting even better hardware into it would improve the situation? It won't. What would happen is if they have one model of PS5 instead of two, now they could just mass produce that model, flood the market with that model, and now everyone can get a PS5. There's no more scarcity whatsoever. And if they so choose that they want to run discs, they can buy the DVD drive separately. I mean, in reality, that's probably what they should have done to begin with, but I don't think anyone predicted COVID. COVID just completely changed the face of what was going on during the launch of those consoles. Am I going to watch the Barbie movie? No. I have no interest in the Barbie movie. You can buy Metal Gear Solid 1 on PC. Again, it's something that not accessible to me. You see? Ooh. Am I playing Zelda next week? I'm playing Zelda all day on Friday. It's all I'm playing on Friday. It's 5+ hours of Zelda on Friday, and then it's going to hit my main schedule and be alternated with other games. So the answer is yes, I'm playing Zelda. How many of my PS5 controllers have drifted? I own 2. One of them did some drift. That one over there. And that's when I ended up getting a second one. Well, there's 2 reasons I have 2 PS5 controllers. The first is, at the launch of PS5, some games had too much haptic feedback, and as that was happening, it would cause my thumbstick to depress by accident, and I would get melee attacks in games like Call of Duty completely by accident, and it was ruining my gameplay. Then I disabled the haptic feedback, and guess what? It never happened again. So originally, I thought that my first controller was busted, so I got a new one, and the same thing kept happening, all right? But the other thing is, yes, that controller started to get thumbstick drift, the left one. So I actually stopped using that one, and I've been using this one for about a year and haven't had a problem. So one of my controllers did have some thumbstick drift. That's correct. No, I've never seen the Mario Brothers movie. I'd like to see it when it goes on demand. Would I ever visit Las Vegas? Maybe someday, but if I visit Las Vegas, it would be to spend time with my wife and nothing else. I'll tell you one thing I wouldn't go to Vegas for, to be at EVO. Like the idiotic things that I did in the 2000s. Spending all that time and money traveling to Las Vegas just to go play fucking Street Fighter in a ballroom. What a dunce I was. Like, I really regret that now. Now that I'm older, I'm like, dude, I was in Las Vegas so many times, and I never actually went to Las Vegas. I just sat in a fucking hotel like a dunce. And I look at it now, I'm like, dude, I was so dumb in my 20s. I really was. Completely different moron. Exactly. Wasted opportunities. That's exactly... Like, think of it. Growing up, I'm playing Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 has a stage in Las Vegas where you're fighting on the strip against Balrog. And then I had no desire to go to the real fucking strip and walk down it and see what it was. I mean, you couldn't fucking make it up. I was so stupid. I really was a moron when I was in my 20s. I admit it now. I look back. I'm 40 to 41. I look, 20 years back. I'm like, dude, I was a complete idiot. I'm fucking wasting my life away playing this fucking game. Seriously. It's funny because did I have really meaningful experiences playing Street Fighter? I did. But I wasted a lot of time and money that I could have put towards way more productive things in my life playing this game. And now I kind of regret it. I'm like, dude, I really wish that I'd done other things at that time rather than just play Street Fighter, play Street Fighter, play Street Fighter. It's weird because when you're in the situation where you can take advantage of stuff, you don't realize it. Then years later is when the regret sets in. Like, fuck. Yes. Swagonito says, you really stayed in your hotel? You didn't explore the cities that you were in? No. What? Okay, there's some exceptions. For example, when I went to Nashville, I definitely explored Nashville with the people I was with. We went to had some food, drove around. We went to the, what do they call that? The major road where it has all the music bars and everything. That's how I got my cowboy hat, okay? When I went to Texas, to some extent, I had some food and things in Texas. That was nice. When I went to Midwest Championships multiple times, I went to Chicago. That was nice. Actually touring Chicago, I absolutely positively toured Chicago. And by the way, this was before modern day Chicago that apparently no one wants to go to anymore. We're talking older Chicago that was a nice place. Mid to late 2000s Chicago. That's the Chicago I went to, okay? And that was actually quite fun. Okay? So those I enjoy. But literally, I've been to Las Vegas, Nevada, I believe 4 times. I'm trying to remember. There was the first Evo was not, the first Evo was at a university. But I know there was one, Red Rock, the Red Rock Resort Casino. There was, I think it was called Green Valley Resort. I was at 3 Evos that were in Vegas. 2005, 2006, 2007. 3 times in a row, 3 years in a row, I traveled to Las Vegas. Did I gamble? A little bit in the airport, because the airports actually had slot machines. But outside of that, I literally would fly in, take a taxi, because there was no Uber back then, take a taxi to the hotel, check in, get some food, relax, and then go to the fucking venue, check in, play fighting games in the venue, play fighting games in hotel rooms, play fighting games, play fighting games, play fighting games, play fighting games, play fighting games. Jasper, stop it. He's trying to chew the wire again. And literally not ever step foot outside of the hotel. I'm serious. I never did. I just stayed at these hotel resorts and just hung out in the hotels. And it was, some of the hotels had gambling in them, which was nice. So you could do some of that. Like I said, one of them was Red Rock Resort Casino. I think one was called like Green Mountain or Green Valley, something like that. They were both owned by the same company, but they were spin-off resorts or whatever. So basically, yeah, I never left. I mean, how dumb am I? All I needed to do was leave and go to the Strip, spend the day outside of the realm of fighting games, and just have some fun, do some tourism, have some memorable moments that I could remember forever, and I never did it. I'm just a complete idiot. I really, really regret it. You know, even when I went to the first Evo, which was 2002, I think it was, I spent 2 weeks in California in Orange County with my friends, and we saw the sights. We did some fun stuff together. That was neat because you spend time with your friends while you're also doing the thing. I don't know, like, mid-2000s, I was just an idiot. No, life's for soul. Here's the thing. See, back then, I basically was traveling by myself. I was a loner traveling out to, like, Evo, and I wasn't, like, with a group of people. I was just doing it for myself, my own thing. So, you know, that's when I say, oh, I went to Evo 2005 literally with no friends, no one supporting me, and I got fucking 4th place at the tournament, top American that year. You have to understand that what an accomplishment that was. Okay? It was a huge one. It wasn't like, oh, I had a group of friends, we were chilling, we were supporting each other, we were practicing. No, it was literally me just performing at a top level in a fighting game with literally everyone against me. Every person wanted to see me fail, and I didn't fail. That's why that's meaningful to me. All right? Not because these idiots, because it was an inferior version. Fuck you. Doesn't matter if I was playing fucking thumb wrestling. If it was the same thing in any competition, I would have still felt proud about it because of the way that it went down, you know? No, I didn't meet John Rambo till many years later. I didn't meet John Rambo till 2006, and we actually didn't go to Evo together till 2007. That was the one we went together. Yep. Did I ever doubt myself back then? Of course I did. Of course I did. I didn't, you know, it was remarkable because here's someone who had no notable tournament placings in Super Turbo, right? I wasn't winning Super Turbo tournaments or anything. And, you know, to come out of literally nowhere and go to the Nationals and kick every major player's ass in a fucking row, back to back, spanking them left and right. It was pretty crazy. And I was in what was considered the black bracket of death. It was supposed to be a black bracket where they put all the good players, and I beat every good player that was in that bracket. Literally every one. Did I ride in a tow truck? No, I don't think. Have I ever ridden in a tow truck? I don't know. I don't remember. Thoughts on the bus light boycott? People are boycotting bus lighting? Whatever. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what the story is behind that one. We like to sit in the dark. Good for you. Go sit in the dark areas of the bus, man. I don't care. All right. Guys, we do have to end the show. So I want to say thank you for chilling with me, and thanks to those who did support the stream so far today. I hope you enjoyed the show. You know, sorry we don't, these last few days we haven't had much, like, too many concrete topics to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no news going on. Maybe tomorrow we'll have some more, maybe after the tier maker tonight we'll have something more to talk about tomorrow or something. It's just, it's sucks that there's nothing really going on. You know what I mean? There just isn't. There's nothing too concrete happening. And because of that, there's really, I can't sit down, but, oh, let's talk about these cool big topics, is, you know, but I am happy chatting with you every day. We have a good time just chatting it up, right? And having a little back and forth. So thanks for joining me. Let's end the show. All right, and news on Hogwarts. What news on Hogwarts, Ronnie Blaze? I don't know what you're talking about. What news on Hogwarts? Anyway, thanks for watching the show, and until next time, I still need to think about what I want to do for an outro, because right now we don't have one, you know, and I don't really want to use music that's like, you know, I'm trying to think of what I can do for an outro, or maybe every day I should just make a cheesy pun here or something. So thanks for playing. Thanks for playing. Yeah, thanks for playing. This is all a video game. I don't know if you guys realized it. You were playing a game this whole time. Your button inputs were controlling me on the screen. All right, thanks for watching.